What's happening? It is Sam Scribe. I know it's been a while, but that's not the point of the video. This is not really a rant, but I am probably gonna ramble a bit too long. Just had a little exchange, a little back and forth. I'm kind of still having an exchange. Pleasantly, I typically don't really like debating a lot or arguing. I don't like arguing in general, but a good conversation is a good conversation. And there's one I guess I've been having on the low, but it brought up. We're watching. The subject was like on Attack on Titan, and spoilers for season 4 if you haven't reached the kind of middle of part 2 of season 4. If you're still here, then I'm assuming you already know the rumbling, more specifically genocide, and I'm having a kind of debate with this gentleman. He's kind of arguing for the genocide and me against genocide as being a defensive measure. And it's an interesting exchange going, to say the least. So again, I don't have my thoughts fully together. I would like to say it is, even though there's disagreement, there is it's passionate, but this is partly why I enjoy not just Attack on Titan, but just like stories in general, and I was going to say anime, but like just stories in general, to have these kind of discussions, because we have these thoughts like calmly in our head, and sometimes we are afraid to voice them. I know I really didn't want to voice my opinion on the situation. He said that he gets screamed at for voicing his opinion. If I do post something, I'm not gonna dox him. I'm not gonna especially without his permission. If I post anything on the video, then I'll blur his name out. But I told him that this is a good conversation. He brought up some points that I didn't think about. Not really to change my position at all, but it did. I'd be lying if I said that he didn't pose some interesting quandaries to help me just kind of expand my mind and just help me really think about the situation. And yeah, boss. Oh, I'm at work. Leaving work. But now he doesn't know this. I'm coming from this from a kind of a Christian point of view, and so while I'm going back and forth with him, I'm also having like an eternal dialogue of, I'm saying genocide, of course, is wrong. I still believe that, but then I support what happens in the Bible and what God does, and God certainly flooded the planet. At least so that's I'm coming from that angle. I'm saying, is that still right? Or it is, but then I'm kind of, it's interesting. I'm having this one-to-one conversation with this man, and I'm also having a kind of eternal argument with myself. Like, if I was arguing against my point, what would I say? And then there's like the genocide. At least this is more or less what you were seeing, like apologetics debate, especially atheists bringing up the flood in Genesis and the kind of war battles or genocide, or I can't remember what it's called, but basically there's a series of battles in the book of Joshua that someone would give them like genocidal vibes to, because it says kill every man, woman, and child, leave none alive. I believe that's the language. Spacing. So I kind of have to say, does my argument for this fictional world hold up next to my views about what I believe happened in this world? And we brought up, or it got brought up about, school, as I'm recording these school shootings. The school shooting has happened I believe just a few days ago as I'm recording this. Not to mention the massacre that happened just last week. And so these situations were brought into the conversation. Is this right? Is violence an option? Which I wasn't arguing against that. So I guess so we could probably try to understand each other, to where obviously there are times where violence is permissible, or is not just permissible, it is required. The discussion was, I guess what I'm trying to make is, one, a decision that genocide is not a self-defense decision, and that's not a decision that one should make alone. He did counter my offer about the main protagonist or antagonist, or however you want to put it, is named Aaron Yeager, and I said, that decision that he's making should not be made unilaterally. And back and forth, he did kind of push back, and to his credit, I did say that he did say he's not making it alone. He has the support of military and many civilians. I said that's a good point. I still think that he's still making it more of his way or the highway kind of thing, and him not being open to others' train of thought is kind of lack of humility. But not getting into more of that. Like I said, it turned into a philosophical debate. Like, things got really philosophical. I did listen to I believe a philosopher who his comments on Attack on Titan, and he used an argument. I could have used his argument, but since it wasn't mine and I haven't fully vetted it out, I couldn't claim it as my own point of view. He was making the argument of stoicism, being a stoic, and it's starting to
Genocide by Titan's plan. So are there any philosophical revelations to be gleaned from all of this unhinged rage and violence? Well, for my wisecrack colleague, Lux, the key might be looking at it through the perspective of Stoicism. Stoicism is a philosophical tradition that holds that if you want to live a virtuous life, you should follow logical principles rather than unbridled emotions and feelings.
Overall, like I said, despite how the conversation may go, again, he might message me back, it is kind of good to have actual discussions, regardless of maybe we won't change each other's minds on a lot of things, but a good discussion from where we can have a discussion like this, because Attack on Titan is a good story, but it is just as a fictional story. It's a fictional story that uses a lot of real life elements, which makes it a really compelling story to watch, and one of the best writings I've ever come across. But we can have discussion of, when is it okay to use violence? When is it ever okay to kill everyone on the planet? I don't say that sarcastically, but when is enough is enough. He brought up that at some point, when you're left with no choice, then violence is the way to go, essentially. I'm paraphrasing, of course, which I agree with him on that. I don't believe that, I'm not, as sympathetic as I am, I'm not diehard pacifist, but wow, I can't say worse. I'm not pacifist. I can't say worse. I do believe in self-defense, that you are not just permitted, but are required to protect your life and lives of those who you are in charge over. And it's not just permissible, but I'm on kind of the wavefront that it is your duty to do so. But that's it. I'm not going to try to drag this on. The video is going to be probably 10 minutes by the time I'm editing this. I am intrigued by the discussions we're having, even among fictional stories, because fictional scenarios can bring real life morals to our world. And, that's it. I'm just grateful. All right, subscribe. Peace.
Is it too good to be true? I want this so much, but don't know if I can trust you. My mind's racing fast, trying to find the red flags I'm used to. All these green lights, are they coming too soon? Caught between red and the green.